Hey guys, just got back from my trip and I got a really good video laid out for today, and it was one I've been putting off for a long time because I wanted to have it as basically good as I could possibly get it. So I scripted it really well. I think I'm able to put out this information very well, very easy for you to understand what I'm saying, and I'm just going to get right into it. This video is going to be how to lose fat easily, optimally, all that good stuff. First thing I'm going to say is something I say all the time. Probably 90% of my videos, this comes up, and it's the only way you can lose fat is with a deficit. It's as simple as that. It's no harder, no easier. You just go into a deficit, which is a lot easier than people make it out to be. Go in a deficit, you lose fat. It's as simple as that. I can't explain how exactly more simple you can get than that. There's no special thing you need, no special pill, no bullshit. And this is how you do it. You can do it two ways. You can do it with your calories, or you can do it with your cardio. We'll go to calories first. I've explained this before, but I'm going to run it down again. Calories, it's the energy your body uses to power itself. You get a certain amount of calories for every single meal you eat. So let's say your maintenance is 2,000 calories. You break that up into 3 meals. You would eat whatever would equal 2,000 calories within the day. That would be your maintenance. That means you don't lose weight. That means you don't gain weight. Now, how you would lose weight is you cut that calories back. What you want to do is cut it by 500 calories to be pretty close to as exact as I can possibly get it. And that is because within a week, if you want to lose 1 pound a week, you would have to cut 3,500 calories out of your diet for that week. That will lose exactly 1 pound. That is how much a pound of fat is made up of in calories. 3,500 calories makes 1 pound, just to make it simple and easy for you to understand. So if you cut 500 calories every single day, 500 times 7 is 3,500. You lose exactly 1 pound of fat per day if you cut out 500 calories. So that's very simple and easy. But how do you do that? Since I don't have my diet plan fully established yet, what I kind of as a basis, what I give to people is you take your 3 meals and you just cut them down the middle. You portion them, you cut them in half. Good example for this is before I was doing my cut before this quarantine, I would have 4 pieces of French toast in the morning. Now I have 2 pieces of French toast in the morning. And if at the end of the day you feel really hungry or just even slightly hungry, you just kind of want to snack on something, you're kind of craving something, you're doing really well. Just fight that urge and do it every single day. You'll lose weight. That's how it works. Now, how you know if you're not eating enough is if at the end of the day you feel extremely tired and run down and just beat up for no reason, then you need to eat more. And if and when that happens to you, you'll know. So now we're going to talk about cardio. Now, how you lose weight with cardio is you have to eat in a maintenance, and then you have to do cardio to put yourself in a deficit. So let's go back to, you have 2,000 calories. That's your main thing. And you eat your 2,000 calories for the day. But let's say at lunchtime you go and run a mile. Depending on how fast you run, your weight, your height, all that good stuff, you have to do it yourself. I can't do it for you. Let's just say you lose 100 calories. So you would be in a 100 calorie deficit per day, which means you'd be in a 700 calorie deficit per week, which means you would lose like 1/4 of a pound every single week. So running up to 500 calorie deficit in cardio is a lot of cardio. So what you want to do to make it very easy for yourself is to cut, let's say, 250 calories out of your diet and then do 250 calories of cardio every single day. Now, there's different types of cardio to do, so what type should you do? So there's basically two sections of cardio, two ways you can do cardio. There's LISS cardio and HIIT cardio. LISS cardio is your average normal cardio. You do steady state. You just run 10 miles per hour for 30 minutes or whatever. And then HIIT cardio is something that's really popular, and I'm going to do a video on it soon, but just to give it a little bit of a description, let's say you're on a track and you sprint the straight, and then you walk around the whole thing, you sprint the straight, walk around the whole thing, sprint the straight. That would be HIIT cardio. You just sprint the straights, walk the corners, whatever. That would technically be HIIT cardio. So basically you want to go out as hard as you possibly can, and then you rest. You keep doing it, but you just rest. And then as soon as you feel good enough to go as hard as possible, you go as hard as possible. And you do that for like 15 minutes and you burn a bunch of calories. I myself have not done an experiment depicting whether LISS or HIIT cardio is better, but I know a person who has, so I will link his little video up as a card, and then I will also put it in the description. It's Coach Greg. I've talked about him a lot. Very good person. Definitely go watch his videos. It's basically where I get a good portion of my knowledge from. But anyways, LISS and HIIT cardio, we're just going to take away HIIT cardio. It's a little bit more advanced. So let's just talk about LISS cardio. Basically, the main three types you're going to see are obviously running, biking, and a little bit more rare but still considerable is swimming. Swimming is the absolute best, biking is the second best, and running is obviously the third best, I guess, which would make it the worst of the three. But if you don't have a bike, obviously you have to run. Not a lot of people don't have swimming pools, and since it's quarantine, swimming pools aren't open, so it's kind of off the table, but it's still good to keep in mind that swimming burns a lot of calories. Now, if you have a bike, a lot of people do have a bike, some people don't. Biking is really good. What I recommend for biking is whatever you would run, bike 2 times as much. So if you were going to run 3 miles, go bike 6 miles. And it seems like a lot more, but trust me, it's not. I go biking every single day. I used to run, I believe, 4 miles, and now I bike 6. So that's not exactly double, but you know what I mean. It's just you want to do more biking than you do running, obviously, because biking is a lot easier. Running is a lot harder. Also, don't do running every single day. It's not good for you, at least in huge quantities. Like if I ran 6 miles every single day, I would die like within a month probably. My joints couldn't take it. My muscles would not take it. They'd cramp up. I wouldn't be able to walk. It'd be horrible. So I definitely recommend biking because I bike every day. I have no problem at all. If you want to have more of a diverse workout program, I guess, go and run maybe once, twice, or even 3 times a week and do biking for the rest. It's kind of up to you, just what you want to do. If you don't want to bike at all, that's perfectly fine. But next thing I'm going to be talking about is how muscle building leads to more weight loss. There's no real way for me to describe exactly how this works. It's just when you have more muscle, you have to burn more calories to work properly. So let's say I'm moving my arm. This doesn't burn. Let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. That burned 1 calorie, right? If I had more muscle and I did this, it would burn 2 calories because your muscle needs more energy to work the bigger it is, right? So I hope that kind of makes sense. It's one of the hardest topics to kind of explain to a person that doesn't have the that I have. It's just when you have more muscle, you need more energy to properly do the things that you would do normally every day. So getting into a deficit is way easier when you have a lot of muscle because you just move more. You increase your NEAT, which is your non-activity thermogenesis. That's a big word. It's okay. What it means is, like, if you're on the phone and you walk around, that's a NEAT. It's what you're not doing is cardio or working out in the gym. It's just your everyday burning of calories. So increasing that is a very good thing. That's how you would lose. That's a good way to lose fat. I didn't include it because you don't need to go and do that every day. It's just calorie deficit. That's how you lose fat. But NEAT is a very well descriptive way to put how to lose more calories, I guess. But it's not how to lose fat. You don't need to do that, right? But let's get into the next thing. And it's special diets and macro counting. To lose fat, you don't need some crazy special diet like vegan, vegetarian, keto, carnivore. Those are the main ones, I believe. You don't need those to lose fat. My opinion, actually, they do the opposite. They might help you lose fat in a short amount of time, but eventually you're going to inevitably binge, because you need carbs and you need fats and you need protein to live, basically. You don't need them in a way that if you just completely took them out you would die, but it's healthier to have all three. Keto, for example, okay, let's talk about keto for a sec. Keto, if you did keto for a long portion of time, let's say 10 years, you would die. You would 100% die without a doubt. No special nutritionist, dietitian, doctor can say anything else, because if you did keto for that long, you would die. I'll explain why. Carbs, when you digest carbs, it turns carbs into glycogen. You need glycogen for your muscles and your brain to function properly. If you don't have those, you're dead. You'll be brain dead. I don't know exactly what happened. You'll die though. Like, it's just kind of simple to realize if your brain runs on a certain nutrient and you take that nutrient away, that's obviously not good for your body. Now, this doesn't work for every other diet, but that diet might make you lose a lot of weight because you have three main sources of food. You have protein, you have fats, and you have carbs. You have three. You take carbs away. Now you only have two that you're able to eat from. So you're obviously eating less when you take an entire group of food out. But you can only do that for a short amount of time. You're going to binge eventually, and you're going to gain it all back. The reason is, say you do keto. You do keto for a good amount of time, 3 to 6 months, something like that. When you stop doing keto, your body's going to be like, hey, we haven't had glycogen in a long time, so we're going to store up on glycogen. So your body is going to force you to binge on a bunch of carbs, and you're basically just going to gain all the weight you lost. You could just do a deficit all the time. Like year round, you could do a deficit, and you will lose as much weight as you could possibly want to lose, and you will never binge unless you just take it too far and you eat too less calorie. Like, there's really no way to mess it up unless you quit and stop doing it, or you just do it to such an extent that your body freaks out and starts eating a bunch. But it's really easy to get back on the wagon with that. So no special diets are needed to lose weight. I'm tired of people on Instagram, YouTube, anywhere just saying that you need some special diet to lose weight, because that's not true at all. Next thing I'm going to be talking about, macro counting. Everyone counts their macros. Oh, I had 300 grams of carbs and blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that. There's absolutely no reason that you need to know the exact amount of carbs, fats, and proteins you put in your body. I don't do that. The only macro I count is protein, because if I feel like I'm run down, I'm like, hey, what the heck is going on? Am I training too hard, or am I not eating enough? Do I not have enough protein? Why am I not gaining muscle? I go and count my protein for the day. Oh, I'm eating 10 grams of protein less than I should be. So then I go and eat a protein bar or something. And then every day I just know, hey, I need to put a little bit more meat in my meal or whatever, right? But I don't count my carbs or my fats, and it obviously works. I don't count my macros, and what I do works. I'm losing weight and I'm gaining muscle. It's obviously working for me. It'll probably work for you. You can't break the laws of thermodynamics, so you don't need to count macros. Tired of seeing it. And another good thing, or not a good thing, but another thing I can point to is when you count your macros and you mess up, because you will inevitably mess up when you're counting things like that, you're going to feel like shit and you're going to binge. You're going to feel like you failed. You're going to go and binge, and you're going to lose all the progress that you already made. Now I'm just going to move on from that, because obviously special diets and macro counting piss me off. Next I'm going to talk about is unhealthy versus healthy eating. Obviously, myself and anybody else that talks about nutrition and fitness and all that is going to say you need to eat healthy. In reality, you don't need to eat healthy to lose weight. I obviously recommend it because I want people to be healthy. My job is to make you healthy. That's what fitness and nutrition is to me, being healthy. So obviously, I would recommend eating healthy. But if you don't, or you don't have the ability to, it's not negating your ability to lose weight. So don't kind of have a crutch on the fact that if you don't eat healthy, you can't lose weight, because you can. If you eat one Big Mac a day, like 800 calories, you're going to lose weight no matter what, because you're in a calorie deficit. But you'll feel like shit because you're eating shit food, obviously. So try to stay away from unhealthy food. Try to eat as healthy as possible, but you do not need to. Now, how do you kind of put all of these into practice? Trial and error and small increment changes. Like, what I do say to people when I make people my plans, usually I say cut everything in half, see if it works, blah, 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 and just kind of got to play with it a little bit, which is true. I only say that because my diet plan is not fully made. Once it is, it'll be a lot different, and I'll program differently. But that's pretty drastic, just cutting every single meal in half. But I kind of explain, I don't just put in the diet section, cut your meals in half. Like, I go into the description, and I say what I said before is, if you feel run down, eat more. If you feel good, you're doing fine, obviously. But you just got to kind of play with each and every single meal and just count it every once in a while, just to make sure you're not over, or maintenance. You want to make sure you're in that deficit. So you just got to trial and error. And that's how fitness is, because my body is completely different to your body. So You have to trial and error for yourself. I can give you all the knowledge in the world. If I could plug a thing in my brain and put it in yours, right? It still wouldn't work exactly the same for you. You might gain muscle faster, you might gain muscle less fast, you might lose weight faster, lose weight, or not lose weight at all. It's trial and error. You just gotta keep going. You can't quit is what I'm really trying to get at is with the trial and error. Just because you fail, don't quit. Because now you know one way that you can't do it. So that just minimizes your risk of failure. So eventually you'll fail so many times that you can only succeed. So keep just trial and error, and eventually you'll get it, and then it'll start to work perfectly for you. So, and last thing I'm going to talk about is learning about the misconceptions about fat loss and stop believing the bullshit that people spread on YouTube and Instagram with things like special diets, macro counting, take this pill, steroids, blah, blah, blah. And I have my own video. I made it about biggest misconceptions about fat loss. I'll put it up in the description, or I'll put it down in the description. I'll put a card up, and go and click on that, watch that. It'll probably help you out a lot in sorting through the bullshit of the fitness industry. Now, that's really all I got for today. So subscribe, comment, follow the Insta, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or personally DM me on Insta. I'll always respond. And that's all I got. See you in the next one.